What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Welcome to another episode of the Elite Way Podcast, where we help high school parents and athletes bridge the gap between exposure and scholarships by giving you clues and techniques and strategies in order to help maximize your recruiting exposure. So check it out, man. On today's episode, man, I want to ask you a specific question. I want to ask you a question that I think that you ought to shift your mindset around, that you ought to shift the way that you think about going about the recruiting process. And the question is, man, are you ready for the 2025 college football draft? It's interesting. Are you ready for the 2025 college football draft? The reason why I bring that up is because, a lot of the pain points that I get from parents, man, is maximizing the recruiting exposure, is maximizing their opportunity to be seen, but most importantly, the opportunity for their athlete to get a scholarship offer. But I think that there's a big void and a big need in the marketplace to understand how colleges are recruiting high school athletes nowadays, how colleges are going about the recruiting and player acquisition process. But before you understand how to get scholarships, how to maximize the recruiting exposure, you first have to know and you first have to understand how colleges go about acquiring talent. All right. Now, back when I was coming out, when I played ball at A&M, I was getting recruited. It was a deal where they would go out, they would try and sign the best class possible. It would be about a class of 25. They would go around, visit schools, do all the camps, all that circuit, all that good stuff, man, in order to be able to bring the best talent and acquire the best talent on campus. But now in today's world, with the transfer portal that has opened up, with the NIL, where players are getting paid and they're being treated more like employees when it comes to college football. When you look at everything in the landscape of college football, the one thing that is getting hurt the most, the group of people that are being left out of this equation are the high school athletes. When you look at college programs, college coaches, they are starting to understand and they are starting to be awakened to the fact that this is more like an NFL model than has ever been a college football model, with players that are transferring left and right, with money that is being exchanged for work now on the football field. They are realizing that, man, this is a very transactional business, but I have to do what's in the best interest of my university, but most importantly, the best interest of myself in order to keep my job. Right? So how does that affect the high school athlete? How does that answer the question of how do I go about getting exposure for recruiting? How do I go about getting my name out there? How do I go about getting this scholarship offer? Well, the first thing you got to understand is what is the plan and what is the purpose for the college coach. And the one thing that they realize is that they have changed the way that they have gone about the process of recruiting. They understand that the high school football athlete is more like the NFL draft. They treat it as such. And in the NFL, you draft about 7 to 10 players, depending on your draft setup, and then everything else is acquired through free agency. When you look at the transfer portal is like free agency. When you look at the high school athlete, that's like the NFL draft and how they acquire talent. So what does that mean for you as the high school player? What that means for you as the high school player is that space is very limited. Is that I have to have a group of individuals coming out of high school that can play right away, that can come in and can contribute to my program immediately. Because if not, I'd rather go the free agency route, or i.e. the transfer portal route. Check out this quick clip by Reggie Calhoun. He's the director of NIL at the University of Colorado that explains a little bit more of how the college football coaches are going about the recruiting and transfer portal process. Check this out.
So the college system is changing now. The portal it's a real thing. So these coaches not even thinking about no high school kids. So I talked to a coach and he said he look at the portal and recruiting like the NFL. Get your veterans, get the free agents, and then you get a couple draft picks. The draft picks are like your high school kids. You only get about 7 real draft picks a year. So if you're in top 100 athlete in high school, you can cancel that. No matter how much these coaches hate the portal, they also seeing like, okay, that's a real option now. Like I could like really go in the portal and give me a kid now. When at first it was just like a thing, like, oh, they can transfer. But now it's like, oh, well, shit. Prime just built a whole team from this deal. Why am I gonna go look for a high school kid? Unless that kid's ready to play now. And name me a freshman who graduates in May, ready to play in August.
All right, we're back. So look, now you guys have an understanding of how this works, right? So the question that comes up now is, okay, well, what does this mean for me? The question that comes up now is, okay, that's nice, but like, man, Is it over? Am I not doing the right things? Was it a waste of time for me going to these camps, this, that, and the other? But one thing that you have to understand more than ever now is that if you are serious about the game of football, you have got to start the process early. Man, guys are getting evaluated 8th grade, 9th grade, going into their sophomore years for the type of people and classes that they're looking for as coaches. Man, they are really treating this thing like the NFL process, and man, the evaluation process starts early. So how do you take advantage of that? One of the things that you have to do is you have to be able to find a program that can fit the developmental path that colleges are looking for. You have to have a program where the relationships are in place, where coaches can get on the phone, call the contacts that they have relationships with in the college level to be able to give you maximum exposure. Man, the days are gone where you can solely rely on your high school coach. And if you go look at a previous episode of my Coach's Corner podcast with Reggie Calhoun, he breaks down more of how the high school coach cannot maximize your opportunities to be seen. But most importantly, parents, you can't be ignorant to the fact of how to go about the recruiting process. You can't be ignorant to the fact of, man, you've got to be in a program that can develop you. You have to be in a program that can maximize your exposure. You have to be in a program that is built to help your athlete thrive in all these areas. So what are the areas? Development, exposure, understanding of football one-on-one, but most importantly, NIL education now. Now that we're getting into the business mindset, now that we're getting into the business world of football at an earlier and earlier stage, with these guys being 17, 18 coming out, with these guys getting thrust in with money, you have to be able to understand how the business operation size of college football programs work. And it's a production business based on the development and based on how you can contribute right now. So what are the 3 key takeaways and what are the things that you need to do and why is this important? Here's 3 things that I would recommend for parents when it comes to the recruiting process. 3 things that I would recommend when it comes to how do I navigate this thing? How do I put my son in the best position possible to get seen? How do I put my son in the best position possible to earn a scholarship offer? The first thing that you have to do is you have to find the right coach. Okay? The right coach with the right connections, the right coach with a great name, the right coach with the relationships that he has at the next level, because that coach knows intimately what colleges are looking for. He can develop you in that sense. He can develop you to be a scholarship worthy player or a draftable worthy player. And now he can go in with his name backing you to be able to maximize your opportunity. That's the first thing. The second thing that you need to do is you need to be able to find a program that has a developmental plan for you physically and mentally when it comes to the game of football. You heard in the clip that coaches are looking for players that are ready. Coaches are looking for players that can contribute now. And more than ever, the developmental process is key. You guys can't just find Instagram trainers and so-called Instagram gurus who put great, workout clips out on social media. That's nice and that's cool, but that doesn't get you evaluated. What gets you evaluated is your play. What gets you evaluated is your one-on-one meetings. What gets you evaluated is the total body of work that will ultimately earn you a right to get a scholarship offer, earn you a right to get NIL dollars. Okay, so coaching and then development. The next thing that you need to look for is within the coaching, within the player development process, is what is the recruiting plan? There has to be a plan and a purpose and a pathway to maximize this exposure. And one of the things that I can tell you now, one of the things I can tell you from the constant conversations I've had with people in the college world, the coaches, the player personnel directors, the GMs, is that a lot of these coaches and personnel directors, man, they're looking for mature individuals who understand the task at hand. But a lot of that has to do with the education. A lot of that has to do with the understanding of what comes with being a college athlete. So when you're looking for a program, you're looking for a coach, you're looking for the development process, and you're looking for a recruiting pathway and education that will help you maximize what you are as a player in order to be able to live your dream at the next level. Please understand that your high school is built to do one thing: educate you. That's what they're built to do. And then on the side, you have the sports, football, basketball, baseball. But in this world that we live in today, in this world where there's so much movement, in this world where if you have a true desire to play college football, you have to understand that you have to go to a place that is built to maximize what your ultimate dream is. So hopefully this video helps you. Make sure you guys like and subscribe for more content that we'll be having out. And man, make sure you guys tune into the Coach's Corner podcast, where we interview guys from Cal, Oklahoma State, Colorado, Missouri, Southern State, you name it. And you get to hear true insights from those coaches. But man, this is Coach Pugh with PPT Elite. Make sure you guys tune in. And if you want to know more about what PPT Elite has to offer, click the description down below, and then you can find out more. All right? See y'all soon on the next video.
What's up? My name is Eric Franco. Right now, I currently attend the University of Texas Permian Basin, and what PPT has done for me, I mean, it's insane. Like, I started off when I was a sophomore, and my skill set, wasn't there. It wasn't to my potential that I could have been at. And then once, Coach Pugh, he was our safety coach. He told me about PPT. He's like, yeah, man, you should join. I mean, I'm sure it could really help you out. So I was like, man, I've never done 7-on-7, anything like that. Sure, why not? Give it a try. And I also had two other kids from my team that came with me. And once I started, I mean, it was a lot of conditioning. I was a pretty, big linebacker, not really in shape. So I was like, man, why am I here? Like, I mean, it's really just for fast kids and everything like that. But then, Coach Pugh, obviously he's a big time motivated me. Actually, he would tell me work hard every day, even when I was tired. Like, he saw in my eyes that I could do it. So, he pushed me to like my limits. And like, without that, like, I really don't think that I could get to where I am. Like, from going from sophomore to junior year, that was probably the biggest improvement that I saw in like my career and everything like that. And like, I really just can't describe like what he's done for me. He's put my standards way higher than I thought I could be at, and he's really helped me like throughout my whole high school career. So yeah.